Welcome everyone to the first edition of SDG Conclave 2020. And we're conducting today's session focusing on SDG Goal 6, which is ensuring access to water and sanitation for all. Let me tell you a bit about our organization. Youth Forum is a project under Alexis Society, and our team consists of inspired young students and professionals who are solely interested in creating positive social impact by conducting research on policy issues, writing thought-provoking and insightful blogs, designing creative social campaigns, organizing life-changing events, and interviewing leaders and change makers. As it is correctly said that the youth are not only the leaders for tomorrow, but also partners of today. So we at Youth Forum, a team of creative and encouraging individuals with a shared mission, a mission to change the world. So through this first edition of SDG Action Conclave, we wish to bring together the change makers and the leaders from around the globe under the hashtag Act for SDGs campaign, Week of the United Nations. It will help to prepare an actionable agenda that will aid all in achieving the sustainable development goals through all the initiatives and more. While the world leaders meet virtually at the United Nations General Assembly to take up the trying issues and give a solution to the tough times, we are trying to do our small bit by taking action and raising awareness and initiating a better direction ahead. And the turning point of the planet and the people needs to be now. Let me introduce the speaker to you now. Today we have Mr. Jack Sim with us. Jack Sim is an internationally renowned social entrepreneur, and he's the founder of the Restroom Association of Singapore, the World Toilet Organization, the World Toilet Day Initiative, and Bottom of the Pyramid Hub. Jack holds a degree in Masters in Public Administration and Social Entrepreneurship from Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. He has been deeply involved in SDG-specific work, especially SDG 6, which is clean water and sanitation. He established the Restroom Association of Singapore in 1998, which addresses the state of dirty public toilets in designs, building codes, and poorly trained cleaners. Realizing the need for a global body on the subject, Jack created the World Toilet Organization in 2001 as a global network and service platform for toilet associations. Since its inception, WTO organized 17 World Toilet Summits and 2 World Toilet Expo and forum straddling 17 cities over the globe. The World Toilet Organization declared its founding day, 19th November in 2001 as World Toilet Day, and this is now celebrated worldwide each year towards improving the state of toilets and sanitation globally. Jack has also been a recipient of various awards and titles. His ideas and capacities are limitless in creating novel innovational avenues. He's a change maker. He introduces much needed cultural updates to the society. Good afternoon to you, sir. We are so honored to have you with us today. Now I would like to introduce our chair, Kunal sir. Mr. Kunal Mandal is the co-founder of Gyan Space, a gamification company which uses quizzes and other games as a tool for personal growth and people engagement. Currently, he's on a mission to teach curiosity as a life skill, increase awareness about sustainability, and empower young Indians to be more than they thought they could be. So to take the discussion forward while trying to arrive at solution through this session on SDG 6, I would like to hand over the conduct to Kunal sir.
Thank you so much, Ashima, and welcome one and all who is joining and listening in today's session. I have a very, very special guest today. Sorry. Sorry about that. Welcome one and all to today's session, whoever is joining in and listening in. Welcome to the SDG Action Conclave 2020. I have a very, very special guest today. I have the great Jack Sim with me. And Jack, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Jack, let me dive right into the conversation. I mean, worldwide, 1 in 3 people do not have access to safe drinking water. 2 out of 5 people do not have basic hand washing facility with soap and water. More than 673 million people still practice open defecation. it's been 19 years since you founded the World Toilet Organization. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced back then when you started the organization, and what are the challenges that the organization still faces?
In those days, the sanitation agenda was parked under water. And because sanitation is considered very embarrassing to talk about, the people does not address sanitation. So when they call it water, it became drowned underwater and nobody talks about it even more. So funders would like to fund water project because it is glamorous and the pictures are very easy to explain and the sponsor get good branding, whereas sanitation is like the ugly sister of water. And because it's neglected at that time, 2.6 billion people don't have access to proper sanitation. And at that time, the world has about 6.2 billion people. Now we have 7.8 billion people. So it's about 40% of the world population don't have proper sanitation. So I thought we have to put this into center stage. And the only way to do it is to catch the media attention. So I thought if something is unspoken and embarrassing, it is news. So how do we convert this subject that is quite rude? We make it very humorous and turn it into WTO, World Toilet Organization. We intentionally played a pun on the World Trade Organization, and suddenly we brand ourselves as the other WTO, and the media love our story. They also love the unique mix of humor and serious facts. So by telling this story, we became an instant media darling. Now the purpose of the media is to sell readership and advertising income. So this mutual exploitation is very, very interesting, and we continue to grow and grow more media is with our sound bites, our very quirky photographs, and we keep on inventing these humorous pictures and punchline and headline. Every year now we reach 2 to 3 billion audience with a budget of 0 cents.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I found very fascinating as well, because from your social media presence and other interviews which I was checking out, I couldn't stop but notice how you use humor extensively to talk about sanitation and shit, for the lack of a better word. And so tell us a little bit more about how has this humor worked out in getting to the point and vision of WTO across to not only funders, but common people.
The issue is that people go to toilet and they feel very guilty that they go to toilet. It's very strange. They feel that they are very wholesome and they should not produce a pungent smell. But they have to go to the toilet 6 to 8 times, every one of us. Whether you are a billionaire or you are an ordinary person, you go to the toilet 6 to 8 times a day. It is the most natural thing to do. And if you have to go so often, it is a culture. We need to improve toilet culture to make it a normal subject to talk about so that it becomes something people demand as a glamorous, enjoyable lifestyle. Going to the toilet is actually a very enjoyable process because before you go to the toilet, you are very unhappy. After you come out of the toilet, you are instantly happy. So the toilet is actually the happiest room in the world. And we have to transform the image of the toilet from being embarrassing to happiness. Once we are able to drive demand, then the supply will come either by purchases or by public policy. The politician they need agenda to win election. And if they knew that everybody loved to have a toilet, the politician will promise toilet, they will allocate budget to build toilet, and they will win election. It's very, very clear that Prime Minister Modi has won landslide victory 2 times because he's a toilet champion. So a lot of politicians understand the relationship between winning election and promising toilet.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You mentioned, yeah, it has worked, sort of wonders in India, and I hope that many other countries would be taking similar initiatives and putting the discussion on toilet forward, and not from embarrassing to discussion of happiness. That's where we have to go. Thank you for that moment. But when I was reading about World Toilet Organization, I realized, 19 years, Jack, is a long time. And what I want to know from you is some of the initiatives that you have taken which solved some of the problems that or the challenges that you faced at that time. If you could give us some examples of that. And the second question that comes to my mind is, with the resources and technology that is available in today's time, how different would be things if you were to start the company today? And the fact that also you have seen it evolve, right, from a old physical ecosystem to a digital ecosystem and more connected world and things like that. So tell us that piece of the puzzle.
If I were to start today, it will be easier because there is a lot of people connected to the internet. But in 2001, it was the beginning of the digital revolution, or at least a little bit near the beginning. And what we did was we engaged mostly mainstream media, like Associate Press or Agent Friends Press, or Xinhua Press in China, Asahi Shimbun in Japan, and Reuters and all these people. And then they resell the news to the other newspaper, and then they get translated into Hindi and Russian and Telugu and Spanish and Portuguese and Chinese. So this is a very, very viral, even at the time 19 years ago. What we managed to do is to make the subject a normal subject by making it funny. So in the beginning, of course, people thought that this guy is a joke. He looks like he's a clown. He's wearing a toilet seat cover around his neck. He's wrapping himself with toilet paper. He's pretending to be 007 by turning the 007 upside down, looking like Lou. But they laugh at it. The moment they laugh, they pay attention. And that is the trick. You do not have to worry about yourself. You'll have to worry about delivering the message. And so by not caring about how I look, not caring about whether people would laugh at me, then this detachment from self-consciousness created the mission-driven messaging that went viral. We've been telling this same story about toilet for 19 years, and the message is still fresh. Next week, I'm going with the Smithsonian Channel to make a big American documentary. And last year, we launched my own biopic, a documentary, 90 minutes, called Mr. Toilet, the World's #2 Man. Now it's available in Amazon and Apple, App Store, everywhere, and you can watch it. So a lot of media coverage legitimize the subject of sanitation. And right now, if you calculate from 6.2 billion population to 7.8 billion population, there is a 1.6 billion increase in the number of population in the world over the last 19 years. And there is a reduction of 0.6 billion people who don't have access to sanitation. That means back and forth, we are talking about a 2.2 billion increase in number of people who have toilet. So at least half of the people are naturally rich enough to buy toilet, and the other half would have been saved because of this messaging. So we could roughly say at least 1 billion people have toilet because of this movement, which I think is a very good result for a budget of zero.
Wow, I mean, 1 billion people who have now access to toilet. That's really, somewhere. It's really fascinating to hear that story. Now, you have been emphasizing quite a lot on, taking this conversation from the embarrassing to happy and funny and humorous. One of the things that comes to my mind is any conversation, if we want that to be culturally integrated, we need kids to be a part of it, like young children who can, take this conversation, make this part of their culture, and then, grow up along with it. How do you think we can probably do that?
You can start with school toilets. If the school toilets become clean and everything is proper and you have flush toilet and it's very comfortable, then the school kids will go home to say to their parents, why is it that school's toilet are so nice and our house has no toilet? And then they will be able to nudge their parents to have toilets. And if their parents build toilets, then weekends you want to go to grandma's house and grandma house don't have toilet, then the kids will ask grandma, why don't you have toilet? And grandma will build toilet because grandma and parents, they all love the kids. So kids as ambassador for toilet is a very, very viable channel.
Yeah, and I totally agree because being a content creator and game designer myself, I've always found that these are some of the most interesting ways to engage people into a conversation and then help them or inspire them to take actions. And this is so rightfully said. So anyone who is a young entrepreneur listening in and joining us, this is one problem for you to solve. Like, how do we make this conversation more interesting and more engaging? Jack has prescribed the solution for all of you to look at and go ahead and do it and implement it in your communities, in your societies. Jack, let me take the conversation slightly to the second part of the goals, SDG 6's sub-goals, that is clean water, right? And over the course of the past 25 years, 2.6 billion people have actually gained access to a source of improved drinking water because of technological solutions that we have been able to implement at scale and through heavy impact investments. But the fact remains that as we speak, 8 out of every 10 people living in rural areas are still getting by without a decent source of drinkable water. How do you solve this problem?
I think that when people calculate the drinking dirty water, especially when you have poor sanitation and open defecation and untreated sewage going into the river, into the well, into the underground water, then the cost of medicine, the cost of illness, the cost of non-working day when their child is sick, they have to bring the child to see the doctor or stay at home with the child. Or even if the breadwinner become ill, they will lose income that day. If you calculate the entire cost of not having proper sanitation and clean water and hand washing with soap, it is the payback of every dollar invested give you $5 back. So that is a very, very good investment. $1 to 500% return on investment. People don't understand that. So we have to tell government about this because government spend a lot of money on healthcare, hospital, doctor, and they don't have enough. At the same time, if they have healthy people, they will be productive and they will generate GDP, which will in turn generate taxes income, jobs creation, and the country can get out of poverty because healthy people are productive people. So this kind of messaging is very important. And once they understood it, they make a calculation. They say, my goodness, I can save so much money on the healthcare bill. Why don't I build toilet and supply clean water? Then you prioritize that. The other thing is that on the consumer level, the poor person, he has a lot of expenditure in the family. Some of the expenditure are higher priority than food and higher priority than water. They are festivals like New Year, God's birthday, and all these things. They're spending this money first rather than feeding the family. So I think this kind of prioritization, they should reduce the cost a little bit, allocate more priority here. And on top of that, the ones who have a little bit of money, they also prioritize alcohol, snacks, smoking, and sometimes gambling. So all these priority, they should move to invest in toilet and water.
I mean, as you said, for a healthy future, focus and prioritizing, clean water and sanitation is going to be key for not only the governments but also each and every family.
Yeah.
And they have to
The
look at it.
toilet need to become a status symbol. We have to make people jealous that the others who don't have toilet are low class and the one who have toilet is high class. And when this kind of gossip go around the village, immediately it makes everybody want to show off their toilet and they will build one.
Yeah, that's such a brilliant idea. Thank you for the suggestion. Now, let me go towards a societal problem. So, sanitation workers in India and across the world, it's a highly dangerous form of employment that results in long-term health impairment and unacceptably high chance of accidental death at times. Also, in India, we've seen it's a caste-based operation, and they're and they're stigmatized. This not always like everywhere in the world. They don't as citizens, we don't do enough to sort of make them as part of the inclusive society, and this problem exists throughout the world. So what would be your suggestions to to solve this?
We started the World Toilet College in India. First one was in Rishikesh in Uttarakhand, and the second one is in Aurangabad in the Maharashtra state. And last 2 years, we managed to train 5,000 casual workers who don't always have a permanent job. We train them to become professional toilet cleaners. And in our World Toilet College, which is also partially supported by Amitabh Bachchan, who gave donation of equipment, and sponsored by Harpic, which is a bleach company, we placed 5,000 people into permanent job with healthcare, and they are very, very happy that this transformed their life. And the hospital, shopping center, and all these people, they also are very happy because now they have professional cleaners. So I think if we were to be able to build a lot of World Toilet College, at least one in every state, then we would be able to transform a lot of cleaners into professional cleaners. Of course, when you're professional, they will wear gloves, they will have masks, they will have personal protection. There's also another very ridiculous job in India, which is called a sewer diver. And they allocate this to the Dalits. Now, the sewer diver dives and immerses himself totally into the shit when he's just clearing out the chokage. And the sewer system is designed with this person in mind as the maintenance person. And I think that's wrong. It's very inhumane, and the person actually have a very short lifespan because he's always breathing the toxic fume of the sewage. Their average lifespan is around 45 years old and they die. So to solve this problem, we asked Amitabh Bachchan to donate the equipment where we can put into the chokage and to dig it out while standing above ground. So now the sewer diver is trained not to dive inside. And I think this is a great dignity and also safety for their longevity, and their family appreciate this very much. So if we could have more people interested to build and sponsor world toilet colleges and run it locally, I'm very, very happy to discuss with them.
Yeah, so great to know about the things that you've already done to solve this problem. And I am aware that there are robotic solutions also today available, to sort of replace, the human beings and sort of, we can use that to solve this problem as well. And as you rightfully said, so everyone who is listening in, we need more, wall toilet colleges. Probably in every state, and probably later on at a smaller scale in every district as well in different countries across the world. So please spread the word, bring more support to the equation, and help us build that capacity into that ecosystem so that they don't have to worry about being stigmatized ever again.
In China, we built rainbow school toilets. So the Chinese rural school, their toilets is a hole in the ground, and there's a lot of flies, and the shit is just pushed to a drain behind. So when we transform that into a flush toilet, the pride and dignity of the children go up. Their self-image is completely transformed into, they say to us, we feel like we are the same class as the city children that they watch on television. And so if we can also have people interested in Rainbow School Toilet program in India, I would be very happy to partner them, because this kind of branding program can help you raise local funds, and the branding is very, very important for the confidence that people can donate and to build it, and then they can actually participate in the toilet near their vicinity, so they can go and see that it is real. We also train the children to clean the toilet themselves and to go home and tell their parents that school have good toilets, now it's time to build at home.
No, that's, I think, very much needed here, and we would of course put out the link in the description, for everyone to check, and please spread the word and bring more support to this initiative. Jack, COVID-19 and pandemic is top of the mind. Everyone has been affected by that, and since public toilets has been an integral part of uplifting or achieving the goals 6, and your organization have been at the forefront of that as well. My question to you is that in a post-pandemic world where it's like social distancing have become this new norm, how do you look at public toilets, and how do we redesign them or rethink this issue?
So today, hand washing awareness is the highest in the history of mankind. Never before have so many people become so conscious of washing their hands. We want this good habit to continue after COVID, because in 2003 there was the SARS pandemic, and we saw that people were washing their hands and keeping their hygiene. But after SARS went off, then they stopped washing their hands. So about 50% of all the men do not wash their hand after going to the toilet. That is very dangerous because 1 gram of shit has 10 million pathogens, and they can contaminate your food and create all kinds of diseases. So I think public toilet needs also a real review and a new design. So we just started the World Toilet Standard and Design Guidelines, and we will be working very hard over the next 1 year with a lot of professors who are expert, and we select them from all over the world. Some are very good at designing universal design for disabled people. Some are very good with transportation, train station, highway toilet. Some are very good with school toilet. Some are into sewerage treatment and slum toilet. So we are creating a compendium where everybody can use this as a reference point, and then they can uh, solve all their design issue on providing public toilets. So it will range from airport toilet all the way to slum toilet to village toilet and everything in between.
Wow, so that sounds really, really amazing. And is there going to be some competition where students can take part for the designing, or is it still yet to be decided? And it's just going to be a compendium at the moment which you are curating?
Yes, first we want to just produce the standard, and after that, of course, design competition can use that standard to design, because at different affordability level, you need different solution. You cannot have one solution for everybody, and some are washer, like in India, and in some country they are wipers, and some are squatters, and some are sitters. And so there is a lot of gender issue also. The LGBT movement now have raised up a lot of new issues that we should also address. And the menstrual hygiene issues are also very, very important. So all this will be addressed.
That's great to hear. And as you pointed out in the last question as well, that the habit of hand washing is so important, and we must continue. Even post pandemic, and it's so funny to see that this was invented by the Hungarian doctor about 170 years ago, but it took us so many crises, and not even still have it as a integral part of in daily life, and half of the time we forget to do it, and that creates so much problem. And I think as you rightfully said, for everyone who is watching and listening in, please keep washing your hands thoroughly, because that is going to probably solve half of the problem that we're anyway trying to solve. Now, Jack, of course, we talked about the post-pandemic world and the work that you are trying to do with new design of the toilets and everything else. Let me ask you a bit futuristic in that sense. That what does the future of toilet look like according to you?
The future of toilet would be replacing the hospital, because when you go to the toilet, you actually downloaded a lot of data. Your urine and your feces can diagnose very, very early stage symptoms. And if you are able to read those things, you could already address it. So whether it is cancer marker or diabetes or any other diseases, the toilet of the future will be able to diagnose it and to inform the personal user in the toilet. Let's say it's a home toilet, then they would be able to identify who is using the toilet now through some biometrics, which is quite easy, whether it's fingerprint or iris contact or any, or you press the button that belongs to you. Those are very easy to identify, and then we read the data inside, and then we inform. Even when a person is able to arrest cancer detection at stage 1, it's 100% curable. But by the time they detected in stage 3 and 4, it's very, very dangerous and sometimes it's not curable. So I think that the hospital will be less needed as technology go further in the future. You can also use smart mirror in the toilet to diagnose skin diseases and smart toilet paper, smart toilet brush, smart comb. There are so many things in the future that the toilet can replace the hospital.
Yeah, but that's so great to hear that you've pointed out quite a few things that we probably will see in the future, and we look forward to it. And let me now address a different issue that is ingrained with this, not only with this goal, but in general with the SDGs as well. That because of this pandemic, has resulted in a lot of youth losing their jobs globally. And it also shed light on a lot of discrimination, for instance, especially towards migrant workers and laborers in the ecosystem. And the situation can be considered as an opportunity for the youths to come forward and bring a change in this context. But how can people who have no financial stability but have brilliant ideas and vision to kickstart their impact journey, how they can do it? You have done it yourself. Please inspire us and tell us how we can do it as well.
So before COVID, there's 4 billion people earning less than $8 a day in the world. We call this the base of the pyramid population. C.K. Prahalad has written a book called The Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid, describing this 4 billion potential customers. When we told the companies that these people are customers, they used to say, oh, they're so poor, it cannot be profitable. Today, there is a shrinkage in demand because of COVID, and all the factories are hard pressed to find new customers. They have overcapacity, overstocks. They have staff they have to retrench. So what they could do is now to pay attention to these 4 billion low-income customer and to start to see what do they buy for their daily life. If people compete to supply to the base of the pyramid customer, prices will be more competitive, supply volume will increase, and GDP of the locals will go up, as well as you don't just sell to them, you also buy directly from them, so you can cut middlemen now that you know who they are. If you take coffee, which is in a cup of Starbucks coffee, which is $5, the coffee inside is only 3 cents. So the farmer remain poor because they get so little of the entire final price. If you can increase the price of the coffee to 4 cents, it doesn't cost the customer anything. 1 cent is nothing, but 1 cent is 33% increase in the revenue of the farmer. So this is the kind of change that I would like to do with the BOP Hub, is to help farmers, smallholders farmers, downstream their product with more value addedness, to disintermediate the middleman, to help them get cheaper interest for their loans, and to amalgamate all the supplier together. Imagine we can do it with coffee, with tea, with sauce like chili sauce, with oyster sauce, with everything. Then the farmers who are producing corn and wheat and rice and avocado and spices can all get out of poverty through this direct trade. In fact, COVID has made people buy things online, which means that you do not need the supermarket as a middleman. Supermarket makes a very big margin. Now you can buy direct. So we want to move factories near the farms of this smallholder and to produce their product and then to brand it and sell it directly to the customer. This is all possible with digital technology today. I believe that COVID has created a chance for the poor to join the marketplace, and the digital divide will be less punishing for them.
Wow, that's such a brilliant vision that you have, and we hope with blockchain and so many other frontier technologies, we are able to achieve this at scale and in different parts of the world. One thing that comes to my mind at this point is you have spoken before about looking at society as one big forest. And as you rightfully said in the last question's answer, that building local marketplace opportunities to serve the very bottom of the pyramid is going to be key for us to have that 4 billion customer model and then achieve the global goals that we have through it. So on that note, of this, the construct of society being a forest and how we can sort of be a self-sustainable community and have lived together. Do you have any comments on that?
I think that currently we are all working in silos. We are competing instead of collaborating. A good society is one that is not fragmented, where we are redefining the billionaire as one that improves the life of a billion people and not just having money. If we are able to go back to caring and sharing, and everybody is recognized for helping and improving other people's life instead of recognized for taking away money from other people, then we will change the game. You see, why do people want to be billionaire? They want it because they are recognized for it. If we stop recognizing it, it has no value. So you can show me your Ferrari or your Rolls Royce, but I'm not interested. And you can try to show off to me, but I don't even notice because I find it's obnoxious. And then instead of having power over me, they felt out of place. Then would they still want to drive a Rolls Royce? Nobody's looking. In fact, it is a symbol of selfishness. Then the whole game changed. So young people can change the world by refusing to surrender their inferiority complex to the superiority complex of the rich. We can't stop the rich from making more money, but we can redefine what is money for. Money is for sustainability, and if we don't win together, we will lose together. So current design of winners and losers is a very, very bad game design. It makes people want to take money away from other people. I think the future, we have to have trust, caring, sharing, and if people enjoy helping one another, that is the world we want to live in.
Yes, thank you so much for that suggestion. Trust, caring, and sharing. That's the only way to move forward. At this point, I have a young voice with me. Ashima is a young professional and is a member of our global community of volunteers. And Ashima has a couple of questions for you, Jack. So over to you, Ashima. Please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Thank you, Kunal sir. So I'm Ashima. I am a liberal arts graduate, and I'm currently working as a management consultant in an impact consulting firm. So I'll just move on to my question. So the first question which I had for you is that you started entrepreneurship quite young and you have achieved so much through these years. So do you have anything to say to the young aspiring social entrepreneurs, something which you wish you had known when you started off your journey?
Mm. What I think is that if you want to make money, chances are it's not going to succeed. If you want to offer values to other people, then chances are you will succeed. So everybody who is doing business should think about how they can be valuable to other people. The same thing is if you are a social worker, also are you valuable to improve the life of other people? If you are able to do that, either way, you will be offering value and you will be in demand. You will be very, very good at what you are doing and you will have business. So when you go out to start thinking of your new startup or set up a new business, find a very big problem to solve. If you solve the problem very well, there will be people who want you to continue solving the problem and therefore they will pay you. If you go out there to try to make money, you have no purpose in your business. The purpose of your business is making money. It has no value for the other people. So don't think of money first. Think of purpose first. Think of value creation. And the money is just a byproduct of your purpose.
That was a wonderful answer, sir. Thank you so much. So I have one more question. What are the three suggestions you would give for the youth of today?
Be fearless, be tech savvy, and have a purpose of life. Just imagine whatever is your age, you are going to die at around 80 years old. So take 80 years old, download a countdown app, minus the age that you are having now, and you will know how many days you have left before you die. Everybody comes to this planet have about a budget of 80 years. That is 29,200 days. And then every day it becomes one day less. So by the time I started to become a social entrepreneur, I was already 40 years old. I have 14,600 days left. And today I have about 6,000 days left. If you have a lifespan of only 6,000 days left, do you really need a lot of money? The answer is no. You only need a little bit because as your life gets shorter, the lesser money you need. So I find that those people who continue making money, they are doing a loss-making business. Why do I say so? When they first started to make money, they need the money. So it is profitable. And then they make so much money up to a point where they will never ever need to spend that money. That is when they start making losses. Why do they make losses? Because they are exchanging the time that they have for the money that they don't need. You see, life, you are not spending money. You are spending minutes and seconds and days. And that minute that is gone is never going to come back. And so the most precious currency of life is time. And you have to budget your time in exchange for the highest value of return. And first, you will need to make the money to eat, to pay bills, to pay rent, or to pay mortgage. After that point, you don't need more money. And if you continue to exchange the most precious commodity of your life for money, you must be stupid. Because at the last day of your life, what do you want to say to yourself? You might want to say, can I check my bank balance one last time? And you say, whoa, I've got $20 million, and you die. The money don't follow you. That last look at your bank account is useless. Or would you prefer at the last day of your life to say, I think I have used all my life helping people improve their quality of life. I'm satisfied. I don't feel any guilt. I feel that the journey was good. And you go with a smile. I think this is the way that you should live your life well, because time is precious. Life sustenance is not going to be very difficult, but other people are suffering. Let's help everybody in the most sustainable way. And the most sustainable way is to teach them to do business. Because if the farmer can make better prices, then they also get out of poverty.
Yes, I think micro entrepreneurs is what we need in today's world, in every ecosystem, in every community. Thank you so much, Jack, for your suggestions. And I think everyone who is listening in, there are some precious lessons that Jack has given us. And any young person who is listening in, please listen in carefully, because these are going to help you build your life as you go about. Jack, one question that I should have asked you slightly before, but I'm going to put it now is, if we have to create a blueprint for the future to solve goal 6 or achieve goal 6 by 2030, what would be your top 3 suggestions or recommendations?
I would want that the subject of toilet sanitation is become a norm, that all the government takes this subject as a top priority, because you can save a lot of money from the other ministry budget. And once the government of the world are following this will change very fast. I give you an example. Last year, we have World Toilet Summit in Sao Paulo in Brazil. We changed the law in all of Brazil, which is a very big country, that the water company that did not have investment to treat their sewage can now attract private investor to their water company, which is owned by the government, to treat their sewage. 50% of all the sewage in Brazil are not treated. And so they are pumped into the river, into the lakes, into the beach, and they create a lot of diseases. Now, with this new law that has been passed by the Brazilian Senate, we now can attract investment. So policy changes are very, very important. And government actually likes to change such policies, just that because they didn't talk about sanitation, they didn't talk about the problems. Once they hear it, they realize it, they're going to take action. So 3 months before World Toilet Summit, I went to Brasilia to have a Senate hearing, and all the senators agreed that this is important. Then they came to World Toilet Summit on World Toilet Day, 19th of November in Sao Paulo. They launched the white paper. Then 10 months later, we hear in Singapore that the law has been passed. So this takes process, says about 10 months to a year, but it's all doable. So young people, you can do this kind of changes, just believe so. And you can talk to me anytime. And if you want to build World Toilet College or this Rainbow School Toilet, or change any policy, let's start working together. Be audacious, be fearless, always be harmonious. Do not have to go to the street to make protests or be violent. All problems can be harmonized and can be solved through incentivization, because logically, all good things are desired by people. And there will be an alignment where The media tell their story, the politicians win their votes, the professors does their research, the donors give their funding, everybody gets toilet, everybody is safe.
Thank you, Jack. And everyone who is listening in, here is to sum up that we need to make toilet more glamorous, and it's time for us to take the conversation from embarrassing to happiness. And we must invest in sanitation as a priority because future of health is about replacing hospitals. Remember that. And another thing that Jack said is, if we don't win together, we lose together. So we better win, right? And that's the way we have to go forward with. And everyone, young person specifically who is listening in, be fearless, be tech savvy, and have purpose. And remember, time is the most important currency of life, as Jack said. Jack, once again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being with us and sharing such insightful nuggets. Our audience would definitely love it. And but before we conclude, I have one last question for you. If we have to sum up your vision for a better world, what would that be in one sentence?
I think if everybody move from the winner and loser game design to a facilitation design, then the world will be better. There is a person in the world that always succeeds, no matter what she does, and this is your mother. Everybody's mother, when they gave birth to a child who is you, they did not have a business plan, but they already know that this child will grow up healthy, educated, capable, and get good career and give me grandchildren. They don't need business plan. They need a belief that is non-negotiable and a mission that is ironclad. And if everybody takes whatever they want to do, like their mother takes them as a project, then they will never give up. Because a mother will never say, if I lost my job, I'm going to give this baby to the neighbors. Never. And the mother doesn't need to know that whether she will be prosperous or have enough resource to bring this child up. For her, it is non-negotiable. And she will definitely find the answer so that the child will grow up well. And if you have a spirit of a mother, you will succeed in everything you do.
Yes, here is to the spirit of mothers, and here is to mothers all around the world. And everyone who is joining in and listening, once again, thank you so much for being here. And for a world where no one is left behind, it has never been clearer that all of us have a role to play in order to bring about change. Whoever you are, no matter where you come from, every one of us can make a difference. Every action truly counts. Get involved, attend the SDG Action Conclave 2020, participate in the SDG quiz, help raise awareness about the goals, and connect with a global community of passionate volunteers. This Global Goal Week, let's come together to spread the knowledge about people, planet, and our sustainable development goals. Thank you once again all for joining us. Follow us on Instagram at Youth Forum India for all the updates. And don't forget to join our next session.
Also, one more thing. Go out and make music and songs about toilets, do paintings about toilets, and use pop culture to propagate poop culture. Thank you very much.
Use pop culture to propagate poop culture. There you have it. On that note, we will conclude this session. Thank you once again, Jack, for your time, and thank you everyone for joining in.